Hello everybody, welcome to Coco's Crochet. I'm Litsa and today we are going to talk about Yarn of the Month, episode 7. Now if you remember at the end of episode 6, we said that we would be talking about this gorgeous yarn here, Marshmallow Pies. And it is a Cygnet yarn, and I didn't realize at the time when I saw the little swan, I should have known, because that's the symbol for Cygnet yarn. So that's their, they have that on all their yarns. Now I received 3 gorgeous cakes from our friend Liza. So thank you, Liza, once again for gifting me with these wonderful yarns, because I had the opportunity to use them, and now I can share my thoughts with you, and also what's a very like a yarn that is very similar to it here in Australia, which was very, very surprising because I really didn't know what to expect, other than this amazing bright color here, and also these colors here. I'll soon share this project with you, are the ones that I had to work with. Now, I had 2 balls of this colorway here, which is, let me tell you what it's called, Red Hot Rio. And this one is Graffiti, what is it called? Graffiti Sweetie. Now, as I said, these are Cygnet yarns, and there are actually 12 colorways in the different cakes on the Wool Warehouse website. So I'm just going to bring that up to show it to you in case you are interested. You can go and have a look yourself, and I will tell you what the costing is. So they do have some beautiful colorways there that, depending on, what your preferences are. But this bright one, oh my gosh, I just love it, because obviously it's got the purple in it, but I think all the colors complement it perfectly. And this cake here really surprised me with some of the colors that came out. So I guess that's the appeal of having, your yarn caked up. You can actually get a surprise as you're pulling it out. Now, this yarn here is 100% acrylic. It is a DK weight, as the ball band does say. It does say that it is a double knit or double knitting. So DK weight, which is an 8-ply yarn here, and I think that's a number 3 weight as well, people that use that measure. It is 150 grams, so each cake is 150 grams or 5.3 ounces, which equates to 540 meters or 590 yards. So there is quite a bit of yarn in each cake, which is wonderful. Now, on the ball band, he recommends that you use a 4mm hook, which is what I did use when I did the little swatch that I'll show you soon. Very, very soon, I should say. Now, on the Wool Warehouse website, and I chose that one because it is a UK brand yarn, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. And I do know that a lot of you shop from there, so I thought that I would just bring that one up. And in actual fact, when it popped up when I did a Google search, that came up. So if you're using pounds, it's £4.99. If you're using Australian dollars like myself, it's $9.74 per cake, and in the US, it's $6.30 if you're using US currency wherever you are. Now, we need to remember, those of us that don't live in the UK, we will be paying postage. But I have to say that, let's just say, for example, I did a big, purchase from Wool Warehouse, and I don't know if they give free overseas shipping because I've never bought anything, but if you tallied up the like if you divided up your postage as well into the cost of each cake, it would be very comparable to the yarn that I feel that it's very comparable to here, which is our Marvel 8-ply yarn. It's pretty much exactly the same when you work it up, and this is just over $5 nowadays for 100 grams. So, when you look at it, I think it is very much a comparable yarn to it. So anyone that has this Marvel 8-ply yarn, I can tell you that it's pretty much the same experience as far as I'm concerned, and I've been using Marvel 8-ply yarn for a very long time. So when I started to use the Marshmallow Pies yarn, I thought, oh my gosh, this feels very familiar. And of course, instantly, my mind went to the Marvel 8-ply. In actual fact, I will show you strand by strand next to each other. So let me get here. Now, as all brands of yarn, depending on the color, sometimes is a little bit thinner or a little bit thicker. This one in particular, this color has always been a fluffier one, but it does seem that the Marshmallow Pies is slightly thinner, especially in that color. But there are different colors here. I think this hot pink is pretty much the same as this one. If anything, it might be a slightly thinner yarn. I did an experiment with my 5mm hook, which I usually use for my 8-ply yarn, so that would be interesting. I'm pretty sure I would get the same effect though. So this yarn here is beautiful to work with. I'm going to say that right up front. If you like to work with DK weight acrylic, this is the yarn for you. So here's my little swatch here for you guys. It's only 10 stitches. So you can see there are single crochets and double crochets. Then I did some cross stitches because you all know I love the cross stitches. Then I did some clusters, some puff stitches, and then I just continued with the double crochets and the half doubles. Now that's all US terminology, even though this is a UK weight yarn. And of course, as you can imagine, so there is, before I start to frog it, there is lovely stitch definition, as you can see there. And that is with a 4mm hook. So I use the recommended hook size with a yarn so we can actually have a true picture of what they would like us to do. So here we go with the frogging, guys. You'll see there is no issue at all. Exactly like my Marvel 8-ply yarn behaves. So that was really, really nice to know. Even though I may never purchase it again, well, I didn't even purchase it, it was gifted to me. But if I had the opportunity to work with it, I know what to expect, and it is a beautiful yarn. And I, would say if you get a chance, try it. Now, what did I make with it? I thought with the 2 cakes, because there's a lot of yardage in that. So what's that? 530. How much did we say? 540 meters. So 1,080 meters of yarn is a lot of yarn. And originally I thought that I would make a little baby blanket, because as you know, there are a lot of babies coming into our lives, which is amazing, and also for donating. But then something else caught my eye, and I had to do this. I had to make this project. So I will bring it up close for you in a moment, but I'll talk to you about this project. So our friend Renee over at Blue Yacht Creates, I wanted to make sure I got her YouTube channel right. She has this shawl here that she calls her always adaptable beaded shawl. Now, why it's always adaptable, I'll show you when I bring it up close. One side has the beads and the other side is plain. So you can either wear it out fancy if you're going out, for the evening, let's say, or you just want to have some sparkle in your day. It's just awesome. And if you make it short, like not as long, so if you don't continue for as many rows, you can make it like a scarf rather than a shawl. It is a very different way of making a shawl. Even though it's predominantly a triangle shawl, it's not exactly a triangle, but I just love her technique. She also has a way, and I'll show you up close, that when you crochet each end, the stitch that you do creates a border, so you don't have to go and border it. And I love the way that she ends it as well. But the other great thing about this tutorial is that the technique that you use to add the beads, you can use it in many, many projects, including, wearables, bags, whatever. You can apply it to any, any type of crochet you want to do that you want to add beads to. And I did get to use these gorgeous little beads here. I've got the pack here to show you because it came in silver and gold. They're actually 4mm cube beads. I don't know if it says it on there because I've got, if you can read that, I got it from Amazon, got them from Amazon. But I absolutely love working with these. They're actually spacers for jewelry, so you put them in between, and they're 4mm the whole. Just keep that in mind, and I'll show you the hook that I used. Now, I don't know if you can actually see this because it is tiny. I don't want to drop it. I don't know if you can see that, guys, but it was so fun to work with a square bead because so far I've only ever worked with round beads. So I think this was about 300 beads in the gold and 3 in the silver, and from memory I paid about $8. And for those of you that are wondering, because I had to know, so I'm going to share this, I used 278 beads on this, and it was just so much fun. Now, to actually make this or crochet up this beautiful shawl here, I used a 6mm hook, which surprised me. I thought I could go to a 5, but it just, because it's little clusters, I just thought that they were too tight. I probably could have actually gone up higher, and I used this tiny 1.4mm hook here. Can you actually see? Look, I'll put it there. Can you see that tiny, tiny hook there? That's what you bead the hook the beads through and then bead them onto your work. So like I said, I used just under 2 cakes because this is all that's left of the middle. So that's all that's left, which is pretty much nothing there, maybe 20 grams. But I did do very slight color controlling because, you know, I am that person. So if the row started about here with the new color, I just cut it and, you know, did a magic knot and started again. So let me show it to you. I'm going to spin it around, guys, and then I'm going to bring it up close. I haven't washed it or blocked it, which Renee recommends to block because it actually opens up the shell stitch, and that's something that I may or may not do in the future. And when I'm feeling it now, it does feel exactly like the marble 8-ply does before you wash it. It's a little bit stiffer, but then it really does soften up. So there's the front. You can imagine, you know, putting it on like that, or you can, you know, put it on even like that, or you can flip it to the side. Anyway, I'm just going to spin it around one more time and I'll bring it up nice and close to you. I'm wondering if it sparkles with a light. So here we go. Here it is up close, guys. I'm going to open it up slightly so you can actually see the shell stitch. And how beautiful is that? Now the colors did transition very, very nicely. I didn't control the way they came out, the colors, just I didn't want them breaking up in the middle of the row. And what surprised me was this color here, because originally I had seen these colors and these colors. So this color here and this color here really surprised me when they came out. But it is a lovely, lovely shawl, and I think that it will be a great addition to, you know, my little shawl collection. I like that when you wear it, well, I guess you could wear it any way you like, but I like that the beads go that way, not across. So they're pretty much almost horizontal. Is that the word? Vertical, but slightly on an angle. And let me show you the edging. So this is the finished edge. Renee has a wonderful technique for that as well. Well, not technique, but the way she does her stitches. And this is her edging here. So you actually do not have to go around. It's all created as you're crocheting. So I hope that I'm doing it justice the way that I'm holding it up. But another beautiful project with some yarn that I had never ever used before. Let me just pop this up here just for a moment so we can still ooh and ah over it while, there we go, while we're talking about it. What I love about it the most is the beadwork. The yarn, it's lovely enough. Like I said, you know, the colors transition very, very nicely. I did get a few surprises along the way, which is always nice, right? Who doesn't want a nice surprise? So, would I recommend this yarn? Absolutely, guys. If you get the opportunity to buy it, especially if it's on sale, jump on it. It is a very nice yarn. It says that it's machine washable, lay flat to dry, nothing, you know, like that would cause you any grief. It's just a mainstream, I would say, acrylic yarn that you can work with. It's not delicate in any way. There's no fluffs. It doesn't split. It definitely didn't split when I was working with it, both with the tiniest hook all the way to the biggest hook. And I really did enjoy working with it. So I would give this yarn pretty much a 10 out of 10. There is nothing wrong with it. It is a wonderful yarn to work with. Now, of course, you know, the colorway that you chooses is obviously going to be the one that suits you the most. If you don't like some of the colors, you can actually cut them out, which is the beauty about this striping type yarn that has a longer stripe in it. But in saying that, it does transition very nicely as well. It almost has a little bit of the color before in the one next to it, but not as much as some other yarns. So once again, very, very pleased with the yarn of the month. But now we have to go on to yarn of the month, episode 8. I decided that I was going to use this yarn here, which came to me again from Liza. So thank you, Liza, for gifting me this beautiful yarn here. And it was very, very recent. Again, it is a Cygnet yarn. So this, again, sparkle. There's a theme here. I guess, you know, coming into Christmas, we all love the sparkle. So Yarn of the Month, episode 8, will come to you in a month's time. I wonder what I can make with this little ball here. It is a lovely colour, and, you know, the possibilities are endless, as always. But I only do have one ball, guys, so this is it. Whatever I make, whatever experience I have, I'll be able to share with you from this one little ball here. So thank you for joining me today. You know, I wonder if you worked with the Marshmallow Pies yarn, and if you have you, you know, got something that you'd like to share with us? We would love to see your make. Or, you know, is it just sitting there in your stash and now you're thinking, oh, okay, I can actually use it for something. But this is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. If you're looking, you know, to learn how to do some bead work, go and visit Renee over at Blue Yak Creates. I've got to make sure I get that right, guys. Yes, that's the one. So thank you once again for joining me. I hope you're all keeping well. And until I see you all very, very soon, take care, everyone. Bye-bye for now.